Well, we can see that when we create an electrical effect in the soil, there is an electromagnetic field. Now, the Earth has an electromagnetic field, so that's helping induce the electricity, and the electricity is helping to induce the electromagnetic effect. So they work hand in hand. But what is interesting about the electromagnetic effect, the work done by Davis and Rawls on the effect of seed treatment, for example. Now, they realised that if they put a seed through an electromagnetic current fields, they could induce a 2 to 40% increase in production by putting the seed through there, and that was without changing anything else at all. So they produced a product called a Zapper. It was on the market in North America for quite some time. Haven't seen it at all of late, but I talked to Canadian farmers about that, and yeah, they used it and with tremendous effect. Now, in New Zealand, it's quite interesting to note that potato growers seem to know this without even knowing, because they only want to buy seed from further south. The further south you go, the higher the natural and magnetic field. And I've talked to one particular potato grower that he bought seed from north of him, thinking that it was coming from colder country because it was up higher, but it didn't work. Well, it didn't work to the extent he wanted it to. So he invests his money to buy seed from further south, not actually knowing why, but it's because it's been exposed to a higher electromagnetic field. Brings that north, puts it in the ground, grows a higher crop. Now, electromagnetic field is quite different from North Pole magnetism and South Pole magnetism. I mean, this has also been really documented by Davis and Rawls, and the effect on living systems. They've done several trials on rats and chickens, and for example, when eggs were exposed to North Pole magnetism, the chickens that came out were very delicate, very clean, and very fine. And they were very particular about keeping the environment clean, and they were very, what you would call, dainty. Now, when those eggs were exposed to South Pole magnetism, there was a complete opposite. They become very brutish and thuggish and very sexually orientated, and became quite cannibalistic at times too. And the same result came about with rats when they taped magnets to the testicles of the rats. So there was quite significant difference. Now, as Davis and Rawls pointed out, that South Pole magnetism, there's too much of it in the environment now, and it increases bacterial effect. So what we're seeing is that we don't want polarity magnetism. We want electromagnetic magnetism. And that's really part of the whole living systems of our lives. And as we see more and more, the electrical effect of driving nutrient up the tree, reactivity series, and the use of electricity to take those minerals and put them in the plant, what we're doing is getting away from a water-soluble type of agriculture to an electrical and electromagnetic effect of agriculture, which go together. Now, that cannot be denied. The research has been done, and it also shows that if you're looking at an electrical effect, an electromagnetic effect, you're not losing nutrient, because the electrical effect takes it to a particular place. When you're looking at water soluble, the water goes through and it'll end up in the rivers and the creeks. So we get a higher nutrition, better density. The magnetics have an effect on turning the DNA onto a particular process where it corresponds with its nutrient availability. You can see that nature has no accidents. It's quite incredible, and we've just tried to beat it up really, and we need to get it back into a place where it can work in its own perfection.